I am Reverend Jean Bell. My pronouns are she and her, and I am so glad that you are with us for this second Nandi Das event. Yes, I am so happy that we are hosting J. Ram, Reverend David, Ault, and these wonderful people here that contribute to Nandi Das every single month. It is an amazing event of devotion, and their sacred devotion is an offering to all of you. And with that being said, I want you to realize everything that they put into this. They put in time and effort and love, lots and lots of love. And more on that later. But right now, everyone that is a part of the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, I do have some heavy news for you. 2 of our practitioners have transitioned recently. Some of you may know them from the past. They are Joseph Clark and Liz Ann Moore. Please send their family love and light. Please hold them in your consciousness as they make their transition to their greater yet to be. These were amazing people. And so with that being said, let's just take a moment and say fare thee well. And we know things are impermanent, and so we respect that. And it is a part of the ebb and flow of life. And back to Nandi Das. The founders of Nandi Das are J. Ram and David Ault. And they are wonderful, amazing individuals that devote so much time and attention. And I want you right now, if you are so inclined, to take out your cell phone. And I want you to see that QR code right there with the dinosaur in the middle of it. And I want you to give $10, $15, or whatever is in your heart, or whatever it is that you can afford. Because these individuals every month spend hundreds of dollars to make this a sacred offering to all of you. All of you. And we thank them tremendously for that. All right, so who would I be without a couple of announcements? Right after this particular event, we're going to have the 98th Academy Award watch party right here in this sanctuary at 6:30. If you haven't gotten your ticket, make sure you do, and it will be hosted by CJ, the DJ up there, and he knows how to throw a party. All right, I'm just saying. With that being said, we're going to end the Satsang 15 minutes earlier at 4:45. And that's going to require everyone on this platform to clean up everything so the next setting of the stage can happen by 6:30. That is a very short turnaround. So I'm asking everyone lovingly to get out of the sanctuary as soon as it is over and head on down to the fellowship hall for food, refreshments, and fellowship. Yes? We could do that, yes? All right. Let's be intentional again about the giving. I don't want any confusion because of what they do. If you have cash or check for Nandi Das, take one of those envelopes and write Nandi Das on the envelope. If you have a tithe for the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, write on there SLCA. We want to give them what they deserve and what's due to them. All right, thank you. David?
Reverend Jean? I didn't know about Joseph. I knew about Liz Ann and Joseph were actually practitioner students of mine. So, I was very fortunate to lead is always a tricky word, but to be the person to help guide everyone here at SLCA for 9 years. And I'm just so honored that Reverend Jean, who is now in that position, has opened her arms with such grace, because those of you who have come to our Satsang, our Ram Dass meetup each month know that we did it in our home, and we had a 50 cap. And so there was a lot of turning away. And what I love about Reverend Jean's invitation is the fact that we don't have to turn anyone away. And that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And so if you would do me the honor of just taking some deep breaths as we get centered today. Whatever feels most intentional to you. We're going to open with a little call and response song written by a dear friend of mine. But before we do that, are you ready to welcome in all the energies? When I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what you see. When I forget, when I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what I can't see. When I forget, when I forget. Will you sing that with me? When I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what I can't see. When I forget, when I forget. The next time we sing it, I want you to make it an invocation or a prayer to that energy, that resonance, that presence, that one power that is what you most align with. And if we can create that as an intention today, as we walk this human existence in the ebb and the flow, in the remembering and the forgetting, there is that which is grace that exists in that presence, the one that speaks to you the most. And let's see if we can make that our prayer to that power. When I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what I can't see. When I forget, when I forget, begin to take some deep breaths this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whatever time zone you're on. Noticing the breath coming in, the gentle nature of the inhale and the exhale, even in those times when we are not consciously thinking about it. There is something inherent within us that does remember, even when we are absent, even when we have strayed. So many incredible examples. One this week that made me think we don't have to make our hair grow. We don't have to force the inhale and the exhale. There is a propulsion, an energy, a wisdom, and an intelligence that already resides so deep within us, long before we entered into this form, and that will continue long after we leave, perpetually remembering the steadfast beckoning for you and I to continue to come home, moment by moment, day by day, year by year. We are often told that there are only two things at play, and that is love and fear. Other ones have said restriction and expansion. And we might add to that this afternoon, remembering and forgetting. What does it feel like to know that that which is benevolent, even in our absence, sometimes even willfully or unconsciously, when we drift off into that area that is so heavily veiled that we think we are this costume, we think that we are isolated, we believe the thoughts that the conceptual mind thinks. That even in those periods, that which remembers continues to call to us. I would like to think that there's something incredible about intentionality. The fact that you are here, the fact that something inside of you said yes to come, to make your way to this small container of time. And perhaps it is in this container of time where you have to do nothing but allow yourself to feel especially looked after, to let that which remembers find its way into that which is your beginner's mind, that which is your open heart, that place within you that has never been violated, always pure. And perhaps just for this afternoon, we can let all of the story and the forgetfulness be laid down. And we breathe deeply, and we hear the words of that presence that sings to us now these words. When you forget, I will remember for you. When you forget, I will remember for you. I will see what you can't see. When you forget, when you forget,
when you forget.
Let's sing that part. When you forget. When you forget.
When you forget.
I will remember for you. When you forget.
When you forget.
I will remember for you. I will see.
I will see
what you can see. When you forget.
when you forget.
When you forget. If you're brave to sing it to one another, let's try it. When you forget,
When you forget.
I will remember for you. When you forget,
When you forget.
I will remember for you. I will see.
I will see
What you can't see. When you forget.
when you forget.
When you forget. One last time with everything you got to the world now. Let's sing it together. When you forget.
When you forget.
I will remember for you. When you forget.
When you forget.
I will remember for you. I will see.
I will see
What you can't see. When you forget.
when you forget.
When you forget.
When you forget.
And one last time to that little child inside of you, that pure presence. that wants to be reminded, let's sing it to that one last time. When I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what I can't see. When I forget, when I forget, when I forget,
When I forget,
when I forget,
when I forget,
we will remember.
Beautiful. Thank you, David. I'm J. Ram. What's up? Hey. J. Welcome, everybody. So we are going to chant the Hanuman Chalisa, which is a 40-verse prayer to Hanuman, who is the representation of selfless service and full devotion to God. And this, you can do the QR code and follow along with the chant if you want, but you can also just rest into it as a meditation. And a lot of what we're doing kirtan, and in kirtan, the idea is a kind of yoga where you want to participate with your whole body. So when often we're going to do call and response, where someone sings some and then you respond, or you're singing together. And the idea is, your mind is going to go wandering off. My grocery list, and why did I say that, and all those things. And when you recognize that you're off in space, you just gently bring yourself back to the mantra. And in kirtan, listening is as important as singing. And the idea, too, is not to sing beautifully, although that's wonderful, but you don't have to sound good. It's just about your heart and opening your heart and using your voice and your body to remember the one. It starts with an invocation. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nija Mana Mukuru Sudari Bharano Raghubara Bimala Jasu Jodaya Kopalachari Buddhihina Tanujani Ke Sumaron Pavana Kumara Bala Buddhi Vidya De Humohin Harahu Kalesa Vikara Siyavada Rama Chandra Padaje Sharanam Jaya Hanumana Gana Guna Saga Jaya Katisha Tiguloka Ujaga Rama Duta Tulita Baladama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama Mahavya Vira Bikram Bajrangi Kumati Nivara Sumati Kesangi Kanchana Varana Viraja Sudesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa Hata Pajrora Dvaja Viraje Kande Muja Janeo Saje Shankara Suana Kesare Nandan Teja Pratapa Mahajagabandana Vidyavana Guni Ati Chatu Ramakaja Karibeko Atu Nabracharitra Suni Beko Rasya Rama Lakana Sita Manalasiya Sukshma Rupa Darisiya Hindikawa Vikata Rupa Dari Lanka Jarava Bhima Rupa Dari Asura Sandari Ramachandra Ke Kaja Sambari Laya Sajivana Lakana Jiyaye Shri Raghuvira Harashi Uralaye Raghupati Kingi Bahota Parayi Tuma Mama Priya Bharaya Samabhayi Sahasabadana Tumaro Jasagawe Asakahi Shri Pati Kanta Lagawe Sanakadika Brahma Limonisa Narada Sharada Sahita Ahisa Yamakubera Digapala Jahate Kabiko Vita Kaisa Ke Kahate Tuma Upakara Sugriva Likina Rama Milaya Raja Padadina Tumaro Mantra Bibhishana Mana Lankeshwara Vaya Sabha Jagajana Yuga Sahasra Jojana Paramana Lilyotali Madhura Palajana Raghu Mudrika Vele Mukamahi Jaladi Langi Gaya Charajanani Durga Makaja Jagata Ke Jete Sugamanu Graha Tumhare Jete Rama Duare Tumarakaware Kotana Agya Vino Pesare Sabha Sukha Lahe Tumare Sharana Tumarakshaka Kahu Kodarana Apana Teja Samaro Ape Tino Loka Hankate Kape Uta Pisachane Katana Inave Mahavira Jabanama Sunave Nasiroga Hare Sabapira Japata Nirantara Hanumata Vira Sankata Se Hanumana Chirave Marakrama Vachana Jnana Jolave Sabapara Rama Tapasvi Raja Dinake Kaja Sakala Tumasaja Ora Manora Tajoko Ilave Soy Amita Jivana Palapave Charon Yuga Paratapa Tumara Kepasa Siddha Jagata Ujiyara Sadhu Santa Ke Tumarakavare Asura Nikandana Rama Duhara Ashta Siddhi No Nidhi Data Asavaradina Janaki Mata Rama Rasayana Tumhare Pasa Sadara Ho Raghupati Ke Dasa Tumhare Bhajana Rama Duko Pave Janama Janama Ke Dukha Bisarave Antakala Raghupati Pura Jai Jaha Janma Hari Bhakta Kahai Ora Devata Chitana Dharani Hanumata Se Sarva Sukha Karai Sankata Kate Nite Sabapira Josumire Hanumata Balavira Jai 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 Hanumana Gosai Kripa Kara Gurudeva Kinai Josata Bara Pada Kara Koi Chuta Vivandi Mahasukha Hoi Joya Hari Hanumana Chalisa Hoya Siddhi Sakhi Gaurisa Tulasi Dasa Sada Hari Chera Ki Nata Rudaya Mahadera Pavanatanaya Sankatanaranam Mandala Murati Rupa Rama Sahita Vidayamasa Suradu Siyahavada Ramachandra Padaje Sharanam Mangala Murati Marutanandana Sakala Amangala Mulani Kandana. Remove all that is inauspicious from me by its root. Remove from me all that is inauspicious by its root. And then we're going to Sri Ram Jai Ram, and everybody has to sing like crazy, okay? Mangala Murati Marutanandana Sakala Mangala Mulani Kandan Mangala Murati Marutanandan Sakala Mangala Mulani Kandan Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. One more. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Shri Baba Neem Karoli Sant Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Hanuman. We have Rohi with us on stage today. So glad she's here. Thank you so much.
Namaste, everyone. Let's dive into the chant of Narayana, the sustainer of the whole universe. Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Narayana, Narayana. Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayana, Narayana, Narayana.
Narayana, Narayana, Narayana.
Narayana, Narayana, Narayana.
Narayana, Narayana, Narayana.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayana, 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 Narayana.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Narayana, 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 Narayana.
Narayana, 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 Narayana.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
That was awesome. Howdy, Bull.
There you go.
Welcome, Rohi. Woo! So I love to be able to contact Reverend Jean and goes, "What's your theme?" And she said, "Evolving consciousness for the month of March." And I go, "Is that possible?" And we had a good emoji laugh exchange to one another. And so we went searching high, and we searched low and wide for a snippet of something from Ram Dass that would speak to that. He always speaks to that. And we found this very beautiful, succinct little lesson that we're going to share with you right now. And once you let yourself just be immersed in his energy and his eternal wisdom, then we bring the lights up a little bit and we have questions and answers. But for right now, just allow Ram Dass to be your teacher.
Well, the question she's asking is about cultivating that part of the mind that notices or witnesses the whole processes you're going in, and how do you cultivate that? There are a variety of ways of cultivating it. There are many formal meditation techniques that are designed to do that. For example, just the simple thing of watching the breath is one of them. Watching the breath go in and out of the nose, or watching it in the abdomen, and starting to do it as a concentration exercise. For example, you sit down and you start to follow the breath rising and falling, and you will notice that the mind won't stay there, that it will immediately create. It's not creating thoughts. The thoughts are there, but each thought goes, "Psst, think me, I'm real." See? And it invites you to think. So you're sitting there, following, rising, falling, and then a thought comes, "This'll never work." See, and it's a thought. And usually if you buy into all your thoughts, you say, "Right, it'll never work, goodbye," see? But if you just agree that for 20 minutes, all you're going to do is follow that breath, no big deal. Don't get uptight about it. Just try, because it's going to be very hard to do. Then every time the mind wanders, you just very gently recollect it and bring it right back to the breath. And then it'll go away again. It'll say, like, "My knee hurts," or "I'm hungry," or "Is it 20 minutes over yet?" And the one that really sucks you in is, "I think it's happening." That's when, you start to feel like something's happening. And you get so that you can see the mind going out and coming back and going out and coming back. And after a while, you learn how to bring your mind back to a place from which you can watch the rest of it happening. Now, that's a formal technique of meditation. But just the idea of learning how to witness is this. If, just make sure I'm not, okay. If you're feeling depression, and I say to you, "Are you depressed?" And you say, "Yeah, I'm really depressed." Are you completely, "Yeah, I'm completely depressed." Really full, "Yeah, I'm really depressed. I've been depressed for weeks." All of you, "Yeah." Are you noticing you're depressed? Yes. Tell me, is the noticer depressed? Well, the noticer is just noticing. Aha. That's where it is. It's as if, let's try another image. You have a cloud in the sky. You have a cloud, a painting of a cloud, but you got a frame that was too small. So when you put it on, you bend the canvas around, all you've got is gray. You don't even know it's a cloud, it's just gray. But if you put a little bigger frame on, you see the edge of blue sky and you say, "Ah, a cloud." So what you need then is to cultivate the context in which you can see that it's a cloud. That's what you're doing. That's this whole business of witness. The witness is cultivating that part of you that is the sky so that you can watch the clouds come and go. Now, the way you start to do that is, it's like the man who is imprisoned in a tower and his wife wants to help him escape. So she brings some food, which has a jar of honey in it, and they send it up to him, and the jailers bring it to him. And then he drips the honey over the side wall outside all the way down. And then she takes a beetle with a little black thread on it, and the beetle starts to eat the honey and climb. And the beetle gets to the top, and he pulls on the little black thread, and then the husband, and then the wife attaches a string to the thread, and he pulls the thread till he gets the string. And then when he's got the string, she attaches a rope to the string, and he pulls the string till he gets the rope. Then he ties the rope around one of the bars, and he climbs down and escapes. That's roughly the way it works. You start out with a little teeny thread. Most of you is completely caught in the drama of your life. And you look around to find that tiny bit of you that is just noticing the whole thing. And at first it's like 1/10 of 1%. All the rest of you is completely happy, sad, eager, you're depressed, all that stuff. And then after a while, when you really want to get free, you keep cultivating that, and it goes from 1/10 of 1% to 1% to 2%, till pretty soon it's about, like for me, it's about 50%. 50% of the time I'm getting caught out in the world, and the other 50% of the time I'm back inside, just noticing this whole thing. And I keep going in and out and in and out. And after a while, they almost become simultaneous. You're out, and at the same moment, you're in. And that's just a process you go through very, very slowly. So that's a technique. Okay? These are all just different techniques. Okay?
All right. Could we do one of those things where you raise the lights gently and everybody goes, "Whoa." You have to do that now. My goodness, you've grown. Hi, Jericho. Hi. I love you. Hi. So the witness. So honoring the 1/10. When you hear that and listen to that, what comes up for you? Thoughts, questions? Anyone? We have a mic runner too. Jericho.
Hi, this is so beautiful. Thank y'all so much. God bless you. I just have a question about the value of the witness, the 1/10, or if you can get it to 50-50, as opposed to, or how that's different from living an experience. So you're sort of noticing, it seems to me, I mean, you know, I could have this wrong. I just found out. Noticing an experience leads to what as opposed to experiencing an experience, right? And obviously, I'm all about noticing the experience when the experience is dreary. Yeah, great. But if the experience is ecstasy or joy, I don't want to notice it. Can you talk a little bit about the value of the noticing and maybe a little bit about the off and on switch? If there is, maybe there's not a switch, but when he said 50-50, that gives you a switch idea. Do you understand what I mean? Can y'all talk about that a little?
Well, so being the witness it's not the culmination of this, but it's a pathway to this where you begin to notice all things self. So it's called self-referential. And anything self-referential, anything that I go into an experience and I reference the experience as David, this is a broad statement, there will always be suffering. Anytime you go into an experience and you reference your participation and the ebb and flow and the communication, there will be elements of suffering. Again, that's a very broad thing, but why? Because in that particular arena of contact, the thoughts then are swirling, like, did I say that right? Or, ooh, I remember her, I don't like her. Or, it's too hot in here, or I'm too hungry. And all of a sudden, the thoughts and the avalanche of those thoughts remove yourself from just the awareness of being in the experience. So, for example, you know, I'm gonna start in singing, and I wanted to be down there, so I have my little meditation stool, and then right before, I'm self-referential because I'm thinking, David, I gotta stand up when I'm done from this stool. How can I do that gracefully in front of all these people? And so immediately my thought went to the preservation of my identity, just for a flicker. And then I just noticed it rather than lingering and chewing on it, you see? And so that's kind of like when you can touch not just the concept of the witness, but you practice it. And then you add to that, what is the one that's actually witnessing? Is it Jericho? Is it the soul? Or is it that which is even much more indefinable, which is what Ram Dass and all the other masters would say is awareness, presence. And so really, he's providing a bridge for we can go into the most mundane thing and notice that we're going in as self, and then the practice becomes, can I slowly extricate myself from self being here and just be the witness to the activity without taking it personally, without documenting, without editing, without doing any of those things, so that every moment is now, 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 now. Does that make sense? We went to my great niece's wedding last week in Texas. I left Texas a long time ago. And so I have one sibling left, and he now has Alzheimer's. And I had not seen him since the full diagnosis. And my niece is the one she's the mortar in the brick wall, keeping it all together. And she's really the only person central in my life that I have any relationship with. So I see him, and he doesn't remember me. He doesn't know who I am. And from the place of the witness, I can witness that, and I can understand that without adding any kind of backstory to it. And I am able then to be in his presence and just flow him love. And the same thing in the reception of the wedding. And I whispered to Jairam, it feels so awkward to be here because I'm not in these people's lives. But it meant a lot to my niece, Tracy, for me to be there. And I'm feeling, what is that feeling that doesn't belong? And because of the practice of just being the witness, Ernest Holmes wrote this great line, and he said, I want you to feel in relationship to the all that you are being especially looked after. And I always loved that. And that had one layer of meaning, which meant, ooh, doesn't that feel good? Like I'm nurtured and I'm cared for, and that's my relationship. But, like all things, it has a much deeper meaning when you begin to extricate self from things. And so all of the sudden, being especially looked after feels sometimes very confrontational, because as I'm feeling and sitting with the discomfort, but I'm noticing the thoughts, but I'm doing my best not to own the thoughts. I'm just witnessing them. The part that is the especially looked after then said to me, it's because, David, you're not the hero in this narrative. And I went, ouch. But then I was like, that is so cool. That is so cool that which is presence cares so much for me that it could tell me that you're not the hero in this narrative, because that's a self. And if I clung to that, I would be in suffering at that reception. And all of a sudden, just this wash of freedom. And I just kind of smiled. And I was able to just flow love to my great niece and watch her celebrate getting married. And Jairam and I got out of there as quickly as possible.
But that's true. And wouldn't you say because of that sequence, you were able to be more present within the wedding? Because if the mind is always thinking of the self or making the story, then you're always one step removed from actually being in the experience. But when that all quiets down, then you're more in the flow. And Ram Dass would talk about things like surfing or sex, like when you're really into it and your mind is not, running a story, and you're in the experience. That's the next level past the witness. So the witness is sort of a stepping stone into the being no thing. When you're just totally in the flow and you're not even aware that you're aware. You just are, right? But you got to step there. You can't just, you jump there on occasion, but then the risk is that you will keep hunting for those experiences. You'll just, like drugs, then you're, I can get there if I do this drug, and even meditation can be like that, where you're efforting to get to a place that is not where you are. So there's this circle of work in the expanding the witness so that you can quiet and calm and then enter more into all things. Like when you're working, you're writing a poem. I'm sure you get into the flow state when you're writing poetry. You're just fully immersed, and you can be like that in traffic. I mean, I'm not, but you could, hypothetically speaking.
But I love the way that Ram Dass broke it down. So first you had the honey and the drip. That's kind of like an intention. Do you have, or is there a desire in order to be able to not own or corral or collect your thoughts? Is there a genuine desire there? That's like starting to drip the honey. And as the honey drips and the beetle comes up, you're having a practice, and all of a sudden you hear something that says, the thought is like a cloud. Just let it go by. Don't take it personally. And you go, ooh. And perhaps in a little blip of time, you notice a thought and you don't take it personally. And then each time those things continue, leading up to, what would it be like to shed this costume of identity? And it isn't an either or, so I will still be David, but can I be less David identified as all the things after my name and be more David in the costume who's committed to being awareness and presence no matter what? And that way, the relative and the absolute work in harmony together. Because you can't have one without the other. The absolute needs the relative, and the relative needs the absolute. The relative is our costume. You might as well love the costume. What did Ram Dass say? Just because you're swimming in the absolute, don't forget your zip code. Still got to brush your teeth. Got to do the things. Right, Abby? Is that right? Yeah, okay. Who else?
Yes, I was just curious for you, when you go into witness mode, what is it, the feeling actually? Is it you looking at yourself, like removed from yourself, or like a bird, looking at you from like a bird's eye view? Or something else?
You know how sometimes when you go to describe something, the attempt to describe it doesn't do the experience justice? It's kind of like that, right? But Longchenpa, who was the figurehead of Doshan Buddhism way back, even like in the time of Rumi, he wrote this book, and he said, resting in the nature of phenomenon. It's the title of the book. Resting in the nature of the phenomenon. And the resting is resting as sky with the phenomenon of the storms. So to rest means, to witness means, what can I do, because I love the analogy of sky, what can I do where I am sky as David mowing the lawn? So I will do inane things like that all the time. I don't have to be sitting at my puja and doing my formal meditation. I will be driving and I'll go, I am sky driving as David. And the more that I do those things, we might smile and laugh, but do you know what it does alchemically to our mind? It switches ourselves out of self. It's not just mindfulness, it's becoming attuned to and being willing to drop the honey just a little bit so that you can start to taste of what it feels like to go, I am sky. I am is what I am. So biblically, I am that I am. I am is what I am. The I am is indefinable. And for those who knew me here, what's my 3 favorite words? To the degree. So to the degree that I work. I love you. Thank you. You made an old man feel fine. Extricate self, extricate self. To the degree that I am playful with the idea that I am sky, is the degree that then the nature of sky, the experience of sky, can be fully felt and integrated. Ram Dass would say, nothing out there can come and collaborate with us. It can only meet us at the degree of our awareness. So so it doesn't have to be any kind of formality. It could be washing a dish, practicing awareness.
Although formalities can be helpful. So if you don't have a meditation practice, I would encourage you to just experiment because the meditation can help you find that witness. And it doesn't have to be like a long time, but if you just focus on the breath coming in and out of your nose right here, don't follow it inside or follow it out there, just whatever sensations are happening at your nose. And you're just commit to doing it for 5 minutes. You're just gonna concentrate there. And what you'll see is that thoughts will come, and then the 5 minutes will be over and you won't know that you will have forgotten that you were supposed to concentrate here. But then the next time you do it, you might do it you'll realize you're gone before the bell rings, and you'll remember, come back to the breath. And as you do that practice, you'll start to see that the thoughts are coming all the time. Like the thoughts are coming and you grab onto the thoughts and run with them. You go to the grocery store, you have your conversation with your mom that you forgot to, you go where the thoughts take you and you forget to do your exercise. And what you see is that your thoughts are not you. The thoughts are running all day long, all the time, a gazillion a minute. And you just grab one and think it for a while, and then you grab another one and you think it for a while. But that is not your being. And so when you meditate, you can get to that place where you step behind those thoughts and you see the thoughts come up, and they'll emerge out of the ethers, like just stuff. And then you'll remember, I go back to my breath. And then you'll see the next one, you go back to the breath. That's where the witness is. And then you'll start to be able to watch the thoughts come up. And then that's grabbing the string. And you've got that thread, and you start to do that more. And then you can do what David, I think, is saying, which is in the car, you're like, oh yeah, traffic, oh, I'm really irritated. And you realize that the irritation and the thoughts about the irritation are not you. They're just thoughts. They're thoughts that are coming through you, and you can choose to think something else in that moment, and then you're not as irritated anymore. And so you start to become at choice for what thoughts you have. And you remember, the practice then is to remember that witness and make it that more and more a part of your day, is where you're watching and doing the things that David said about, I'm mowing the lawn. Wow, that's so cool. Like, here I am mowing the lawn. But it's not outside yourself, but it's also not, it's a de-identification or grabbing at and running down the path with every little, thing that comes in your head.
How many days of Vipassana did we have to just focus on the breath right
4.
here? 4 days?
I think it's 3.5 or 4. Yeah. 4
3
days.
to 4 days. From 4:30 in the morning until 9 at night, just focusing on this triangle. And Goenka's voice, for those of you who've done it, just observe. Just observe. And so, in order for me to playfully irritate him, sometimes I'll go, just observe.
Oh, I love it.
Just observe.
It's always at that time when I'm not really interested in observing.
Just observe.
All right.
Yes. Who else? We have a microphone coming your way.
It seems in this conversation about witness that when we talk about thoughts, we're talking about a linear progression. And when you mention witness, there's a feeling behind it. Could you give us what that feeling is, so as a signpost that when we're witnessing?
I'll give you my experience. My experience is to take David out of the equation. Because when David's self is in the equation, then David has already associated himself with the thought. I've personalized the thought. It's as if I've gone into the sky, I've grabbed the thought, I pulled it down, and I said, this is real. As the witness, it's the thing that is within a David, but David is not it. And the witness is able to sort of wave over the personality of David and just be able to notice the thought without owning it. So owning the thought is where I would recommend probably the most empowering practice. Someone wrote a book and they said, you and I think about 60,000 thoughts a day. And so little of those thoughts are original. They are regurgitations of years and years and years and years of collective clouds that we have kept inside of us. Another teacher said it's like you thought, ooh, I got to get out of my house. I don't like my house anymore. And so you go on this quest to find a new house. But then when you begin to kind of slowly look around, you realize that you've never thrown away any piece of junk mail that's ever came to your house. You've saved all of it, every bit of it, your entire life. And those stacks of junk mail are just all there, and each little piece of paper is like a thought in the house. When it's not the house at all that's really feeling cramped, it's the arena of mind, conceptual mind, that's holding all of those things and saying that they're real. And the teacher said, grab one piece of junk mail, walk to the curb, and put it in the recycling bin, and walk back out. And most of the students say, I'm 65 years old. Do you know how much junk mail, how many trips to the curb that would be? And he goes, it isn't about that. It's about, are you capable of taking one piece of junk mail to the curb? Are you able to take your grip off the thought, the instinct to grab the thought and make it real? Are you able to do just one? And in that ability to do just one, you can practice and strengthen what it feels like to just witness the thought without owning it. What does it feel like?
Relief.
Sometimes it feels like realizing that you've been holding your breath for most of your life. And you can actually breathe. Thank you, because that's what it felt like sitting in my great niece's wedding reception. I was like, oh, wow. I told that to somebody, and they go, that sounds like freedom, David. And I go, yeah, and now I got to keep doing it. One more? Yes.
Sorry. I was saying, doesn't that become another addiction in some way, right? Because how do you find the end? And as an Asian, I have read whatever you can think of, whatever has been written, all kinds of philosophy, Eastern, Western, right? I mean, I personally agree with most of what you have said. And many times in my own journey, what the best I could find out is where what Ramdas says or XYZ says, Vivekananda says, or Osho, Rajneesh says, anybody says, right? There are these thoughts which I can say act as vibrations of higher frequencies. So your body or your mind can stay in like a stable state. If you go through these higher emotions, of all kinds, either ecstasy or suffering, somewhere your body will decay or the mind will go out. I started to figure out that through this awareness, I'm able to detach myself from those extreme emotions. But the thoughts and emotions can never go out. There is no thoughtless state or emotionless state.
That's right.
That's my journey, at least. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you, because it isn't about getting to a place where you have no thought. The thoughts will always be there. We are in a dualistic plane of existence, a yin and a yang. And so as long as we are in this costume, there will always be thoughts, and there will always be the opportunity to practice, to be the witness. And yes, there will be times when Ram Dass used to say, being in the room with God. Most of the time he was referring to LSD, but it was like being in the room with God. And then he said, but then 2 hours later, you're not in the room, and now you're craving being in the room with God, and that becomes an addictive pattern, whether it's in meditation or breath work or any other modality. Plant medicine, you get into the room with God. And then at some point, you could look at all of those things or just as bridges to yet more stops along the way until we get to a place where, what can I do to kind of stay in the room longer? And then you realize that everything is the room. The room isn't a destination. The room, we are in the room now with God now. And what is preventing us from experiencing it is just, again, the intertwangling or the binding of the thoughts. Yes. Look at how enlightened you all are right now. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, let's sing. So we're going to do a little more chanting, and this is a great opportunity.
Which helps us.
Yeah,
As
you can
Amanda
practice.
said, that helps us, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You can practice, bringing your attention back to the mantra.
So we'd like to offer to you this mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. This mantra can be the thread for you, which turns into the string, which turns into the rope, and which keeps growing as you continue to follow it until you realize, wait, there never was a tower I was trying to get out of. There never was a thread, a string, or a rope, or any of those things. And that's where the line eventually leads. Shiva is the aspect of consciousness that causes things to change, to transform from one state to another. Typically, in the direction of growth and expansion. Consciousness is a funny thing because it expands and it contracts, depending on what's going on around us in the state that we're in. But the purpose of this mantra is to continue to grow or to expand until you kind of cross a line of something that I like to call like a kind of a critical mass in a way, where you cross the line and suddenly there's no expansion or contraction anymore. There's just everything. And once you cross the line, there's never any need to go back over it again. So we're going to settle deep into this, and our guide on this journey is going to be Margot in the singing bowls. Shivaya. All together. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 All together. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 one more chant. Let's skip the slide forward one. As the saying goes, we've been cursed to live in interesting times. I'd like to do a chant here that perhaps helps to smooth out the interestingness of these times a little bit. So this is a prayer that I learned many years ago. And my teacher at the time explained to me that this prayer, which she just called the Universal Prayer for Peace, is something in Sanskrit that had been kicking around in India since before anybody could really remember. And there was no particular poet or sage to whom it was attributed. It just seemed to have appeared for the purpose of helping to alleviate the conflict and the pain and the disharmony of the world. The prayer itself really is just a series of blessings, and it sends out blessings to all sorts of different people in all sorts of different situations, in all different walks of life, and to animals and to plants and to the earth itself. It concludes with, or the way that I do it, it concludes with a line that if you've been around the yoga community at all, you've probably heard it before. And it's the second one up there on the screen. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. It's the simplest of the blessings, I think, that come from this prayer. It just means, may everyone everywhere be happy. Everyone. You know, it's like the people who create the greatest suffering in the world do so because of their own deep, deep unhappiness and suffering. So much as Ram Dass used to do with Caspar Weinberger, we wish happiness for those people, real happiness. Because if they were really happy, then they wouldn't feel a need to spread their own suffering out to other people. So most of the chanting that we'll do together is the first mantra, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Shanti just means peace. It's a vibration of peace that we send out into the atmosphere of the earth, let the winds carry it around the globe, and allow people to absorb it without even knowing. And hopefully find that their day, their week, their month, their year maybe gets a little bit more peaceful.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. 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 Durjana Sajano Uyat Sajana Shanti Apnuyat Shanto Ujyeta Bandhebhyo Muktash Chanyan Vimochayet. All together now. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Swasti Matra Uta Pitreno Astu. Swasti Govyo Jagate Purushebhya Vishvam Subhutam Suvidatram No Astu Yogeva Trishyema Suryam. Here we go. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Yayena Margena Mahi Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubham Astu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Keep it going. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino
Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta 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 Sukhino Bhavantu.
We want to thank you all so much for coming, but before we end, if we could start with Rohi, if you would say your name and please show her some love.
My name is Rohita Atepali. You can call me Rohi. Thank you all so much for being here today. Beautiful souls.
Austin.
Austin.
Austin Phillips.
Stan Holt.
Hey, I'm Stan.
Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda Feinstein.
Woo!
J. Lentini. David Ault.
Wait, now.
Oh, come on.
Now say it.
J. Lentini.
Oh!
Ian Bossio.
Woo! David Ault. Once again, thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
What an awesome, and Evan.
Evan. All right. Thank you, Evan.
Reverend Gene. Reverend Gene.
Who's downstairs setting the food up.
And now you want to give them a little protocol.
Okay, so we are going to go down and eat. Woo! Yes. So, but just before we do that, we do have to get out of this room, so be aware because they're having another event here. But there's plenty to eat and drink downstairs, just that way. The bathrooms are that way. And again, if you QR code here, there's an events page, and there's lots of great offerings in this community. So I encourage you to look and join in other things that are happening. And enjoy fellowship and get to know one another and say hi to somebody you haven't met yet. And thank you so much for being here.
And now it's every third Sunday of the month. So tell a friend and come, and we'll see you next month.
Next time.
Thank you so much.
See you next month.